Good morning! Happy weekend! Good morning, cubies and newbies. I am Sunshine, and I play with Rubik's Cubes. I'm the creator of the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. Every n by n cube, 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 10 by 10, doesn't matter, can all be solved just using formulas A and B, commutators, with no, you don't have to memorize standardized notation. You don't have to know that this is the right face and this is the left face, and the right clockwise is parallel to the left counterclockwise. You don't have to know all that. You don't have to know what each row is named, what each piece is named. So I teach absolute beginners with the cube who say, oh, I could never learn it. My brother has one, he can do it, he's really fast. I take new, beginners who will see me with a cube and say, wow, can you solve that? I say, oh, you can solve it. And I'll put it in their hands and make a couple of hand motions to show them how to use formula A to bring a particular color to the top. And they're like, oh, it worked. So, good morning, it's Saturday, and Saturday I usually I solve the cube and monologue through the week, and I like to just play on Saturday. I scramble the cubes so that I have them to solve through the week as I go through step by step. Formula A is 4 moves, and you hold the cube and you look at it as if the front of the cube that you're looking at is a spreadsheet with columns and rows, and those arrows represent the movements that you make looking at the front of the cube. So you don't have to know what, don't have to turn the back of the cube. You don't have to do any of that stuff. But it's not a speed solving method. It is not the least moves method. It is not the fastest method, but it is. I believe that I've created the simplest one to learn for a non-cuber. You don't have to memorize. You don't have to memorize the parity algorithm, or 2 or 3 or 4. Just formula A and formula B will solve every type of cube. I generally solve the corners first because every cube has 8 corners, and so no matter what cube, I don't say if I solve the edges first, I'd have to make the 2 by 2 person wait until I got to corners. So I always start with the corners, and formula A will move the color to the top, and formula B will move 3 pieces around if you want it to. So let's start with the yellow, because I like yellow. I find this corner, I've chosen this corner because it has a yellow. I'm holding it in the top front left position. I put my thumb on it to keep it safe and so I don't lose it. And I'm going to make the rest of the cube match this yellow. So, dealing with just the corners. So if whatever cube I'm dealing with, I'm ignoring everything but the corners, which is easy to do on a 2 by 2. So I look at the corner under my right thumb, and I say, is the yellow on top? And the answer is no. So I say, look at the other colors. Is there yellow anywhere on this corner? The answer is no. So I'm going to look at the cube underneath it, corner cube underneath it. Is there a cube somewhere anywhere on this? Is there a yellow somewhere anywhere on this cube? The answer is yes. So formula A is going to bring this yellow to the top. Formula A uses the bottom row in the right hand column, and since this is the action is taking place over here on this side, I move I move my yellow away from the action to keep it safe. I move the space it wants to be in down. I move the cube into the space, and the cube in the space back up again. Now A will continue to flip these two and twist them, so I'm going to keep doing A until my yellow's on top. When yellow's on top, I rotate the top row only to move this out. This piece is correct. I don't want to do anything else with it, so I'm going to move it out of the way and put my thumb on this one and work on this piece. There's a yellow there, so formula A will bring it to the top. Yellow's on top, slide it out of the way, keep going. Is there a yellow here? No. Is there a yellow here? No. So I rotate the bottom row by quarter turns until the answer is yes. And then formula A will bring that piece not just to the top, but to the top face. And that's step one for the corners, is making the corners match themselves. I'll do that again. Here's a yellow. So I look at this corner, there's no yellow. I look below it, there's no yellow. I rotate the bottom by quarter turns until the answer is yes, there's a yellow. And then formula A, until that yellow is on the top face. I'm only looking at corners, I'm ignoring the centers and edges, but this yellow is on top, so I don't want to mess that up. I'm going to rotate the top to move that out of the way. This also yellow's on top, so I'm going to rotate the top, move that out of the way. This is the cube I need to work on still. And there's no yellow, so I look underneath. There's no yellow, so I rotate the bottom a quarter turn. There's a yellow somewhere here. And formula A will bring it to the top. Eventually, yellow's on the top on all four corners. And so I do that as I'm teaching people. I'm like, great, you did that. Now do it on this one. Okay, now do it on this one. So they just, over and over again, they used to put to formula A. And then once they're used to formula A, then I introduce formula B. I say, okay, we're looking at the cube. We're only looking at the corners. We're ignoring everything but the corners because we're working with the corners right now. So we're looking at the sides of the cube has three colors. Corner has three colors, so we've only looked at one to bring a yellow to the top, so now we look at the other ones, and we're going to see whether they're correct to each other. Well, red does not equal orange, blue does not equal green, red does not equal orange, blue does not equal green. So at this point in time, because of the mathematics of the cube, either all four of them are correct to each other, or either all sides match, or no sides match, or one side matches. On this side, no sides match. So it doesn't matter. On this side, on this cube, one side matches. The red side matches. So if you have a side that matches, and again, there'll always be either 1, 0, or 4. Because if you had two sides that matches, the other side would have to match. Other two sides would have to match. So if there's one side that matches, you face it away from you, and you move to formula B. Now formula B is one row, top row, and two columns. Now on a 2x2, it's easy to know what those columns are. On a 4x4, on a 3x3 or 4x4 or 5x5, we're working on the corners, and so we're working on the two columns that touch the corners. So the outside columns will do formula B. Okay, so side that matches goes away from me. Slide the top first up, slide the top second up, reverse the card first down, reverse second down. Okay, now if the bottom were solved, we would not have messed that up, and so the bottom stays the way it is, which is why we do the second four corners the exact same way we do the first four corners. I'm teaching you not to mess anything up except for what you're working on. So we move the corners around. Now we have to use formula A to bring the yellow back to the top again. So out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. Yellow's on top, slide it out of the way to protect it. Keep going, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. Slide the top out of the way, keep going. Out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. And now all of the corners will now match each other. So now first four corners are correct to each other. On this one, there are shortcuts I can do, which I've taught before, but just using formula A and formula B, because none of them match, it doesn't matter which way I hold it to begin with. I'm going to do same thing as I did on this. I'm going to do formula B and formula A to bring the color back to the top, and then one side will match, and that will be the side that I hold away from me next time. So I'm just going to do that. Slide up, slide up, slide down, and A to bring the colors to the top. Slide it out of the way to protect it, keep going. Slide it out of the way to protect it, keep going. And now, as I look at it, orange does not equal blue, but red matches. So I hold the red to the back side, do B, and then A again. And the first 4 corners will be correct to each other. Slide the top. Slide the top. And they are. So, the first 4 corners are correct to each other, but since it's Saturday, I want to play. I will answer any questions. I'll get back to solving the cube for anybody who wants me to demonstrate anything. But in the meantime, it's Saturday and I'm going to play. So, if you've just joined me, good morning. I'm Sunshine. I created the ABCube method for Rubik's cubes, which I'll be happy to demonstrate. But right now, I just want to play. I'm going to play with my cubes. I know words, honest. I'm going to play with my magnets. Somebody said, how do you play with magnets? I was on Facebook and someone was saying, you know, okay, what are some other things that cubists like to play with? I said, magnets. And someone said, how do you play with magnets? Well, this is how you play with magnets. These are buckyballs, or copycats of buckyballs. And the first thing you do is you get them all into a line. Get them all into a line. Okay, break that line. I select 5. I'm going to link them into a circle, and then I'm going to go around that circle. And I have, oh, I was out of camera. So sorry. I'll try that again. 5, make a circle, continue going around. Whoops, I went to 6. 5, make a circle, go around that circle, and you have a set of 5. Up, doop-a-doop-a-doo. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Okay. 5. Make a building block. Make a 5 by building block. Oh. Starting to make a cylinder instead of did not do it. Okay, this time we're going to do 6. And I'm going to go around. This one will be flat. 6 makes a flat piece. 5 makes a curved piece. And then you can match them together to build things. Let's do another 5. Again, I am the creator of the ABCube method. I'll be happy to demonstrate. Hi, Jocelyn number 1. I am typically here demonstrating the solution for Rubik's cubes, but today I'm playing with magnets. Unless you have a cube question and you'd like me to demonstrate my method, my ABCube method for solving Rubik's cubes, I'm going to sit here and play with magnets. So these are 5 by 5s. These are a 5 piece, and this is going around a 6 piece. excuse the noise, my landlord's dogs are doing something upstairs. But if you make several of these building pieces, and then you can put them together, like so. There's a little bowl I've made. Put them together like so. If I take the 6-piece out, I messed one up. Okay, take one of them away and make it 5. And then I can fit this one here. So you can make a circle. There's different ways of making circles. And I only have one set of these, so I'm going to put them aside. These are half the size of buckyballs. Much harder to work with. And much more pieces you can make more fun things with. I will be happy to go back to cubing if you guys ask me a question. In the meantime, I'm going to play with my magnets. Okay, I'm going to make sets of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go around them. And then we have little 5 building blocks. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close the circle. Go around it. Messed up. The tiny ones are so much harder to do. Alright, let me make some 6s so I can demonstrate other things, ways to put them together. All right, you can make a cylinder out of them. Okay. 6. You can go as big as you want, but I'm doing small size ones. And then you may just make a whole bunch of these. Whole bunch of modular pieces, and then you can put them together to build balls and blocks and boxes and towers and anything you want to. Is everyone here? Is anyone here for the first time? I don't want to confuse anybody. But it's Saturday, so I'm playing. And then once you have them, you can put them together. Here's a 6 is around a 5. That's going to make a cube. There you go. Do I know the CFOP method? That's centers, first for 2 layers, then orient, and then permutate. Yes, I do know that. However, I imagine you do as well. But do you know the ABCube method? Let me demonstrate my ABCube method. Thank you, magnets. You can step aside. The ABCube method is not a speed solving method, and it's crazy with permutate with regrips and things like that. But all you need is these two, Formula A and Formula B, and you can solve any size, complexity Rubik's Cube with just knowing Formula A, Formula B. You don't have to memorize. You don't have to. You don't have to know how to solve it. You don't have to know how to solve the 3x3 before I teach you how to solve the 7x8, because all cubes are solved the same way. Formula A is used to bring a particular piece to the top, and Formula B, which I usually use that on corners and absolute centers. But the Formula B moves any 3 pieces around. And depending, it's always just 8 moves. The top row and 2 columns. You'd hold the cube, looking as if you're looking at the face of the cube is a spreadsheet with columns and rows. And the arrows represent the pieces, the slice of the cube that you're moving, and the lines represent the rest of the cube holding still. So, for example, I do the corners first, and then the edges, and then the centers, but that's just the way I do it. The fact is you don't have to do it that way. Whether you're doing layer by layer, whether you're doing reductions method, and you've got to the point where you just have 2 corners are out of place. Well, either way, whatever state of cube you're in, you can pick it up and you can solve it just using Formula A and Formula B. So, to demonstrate, I'm going to work with corners. I'm going to start with the yellow first, and I'm going to start with this one. Well, let's see. This one's already correct. So I'm going to make the rest of the cube match this corner because I picked it, so it's correct. So I'm looking at only with corners. So I ignore everything in the cube except for the corners. So I'm looking at this corner, and I look to see whether there's a yellow somewhere on this corner. If there is, then Formula A. If there is it on top? If not, then Formula A will bring it to the top. If there's not a yellow here, then I look underneath it to see if there's a yellow here. And if there's not, I rotate the bottom a quarter turn until the answer is yes. And then Formula A will bring my active color to the top. So I bottom row, right column, out, down, in, up. There it is, it's on top. Now, so I'm going to slide that out of the way, protect it, keep going. This one also is yellow on top, so I'm going to slide that out of the way, keep going. This one has a yellow, but it's not on top, so Formula A will bring it to the top. Okay, first step is to bring my active color on top on all 4 corners. And then the next step is to look at the other colors. I've got red is green, orange is orange, so either all of them sides will match, none of them will, or one of them will. If all of them match, you proceed to the next step. If none of them match, it doesn't matter which way you hold it to do Formula B, but if one of them matches, you face them away from you, and you do Formula B, which is top row and 2 columns. It's the outside columns because we're working on the corners. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And I just moved 3 pieces around, but I'm going to use Formula A to bring the yellow back to the top again. Out, down, in, up. Yellow's on top. Slide it out and keep going. Out, down, in, up. Out, down, in, up. Slide it out of the way, keep going. Out, down, in, up. Out, down, in, up. And now my first 4 corners are correct to each other. I put them face down and do the exact same thing with white. Bring my corner Formula A. We'll bring my color to the top. Slide it out of the way to protect it. Keep going. Slide it out of the way. Keep going. Yellow. Now my white's on top on all 4 corners. I look to see if the sides match. They do, so I don't need to do Formula B. But what I then, so my first 4 corners are correct. Doing the second 4 corners did not do anything to them. And the second 4 corners are correct, so all I do is rotate the top until the top and bottom are correct to each other. And now all 8 corners are correct to each other. And I do that with every cube that I start with. On a 2x2, that means it's solved. And on every other cube, my corners now dictate what color that face is going to be. And Formula B will solve all of the rest of the pieces. The only difference being is that when you use the top row and 2 columns, and when you use the outside columns, it moved corners around. If you move an outside and an inner column, it's going to move the edges around. So let's do that. Hold my cube. I've been training my eyes to see yellow and white, so I'm going to keep working with the yellow and white. Put yellow and white left and right on my cube, and I'm looking at edge pieces anywhere in the middle of my cube. I'm looking for one that has a yellow or white. I found one. I want that color to be on top, and it is. If not, I'll flip the corner as long as I keep my yellow and white left and right in either orientation. So yellow and white are left and right. I found a piece. All I do, I move the corners together until the corners match the front color. And then I determine which direction it's going. My color is yellow, so it's going in the yellow direction, which is this way. And so it's going to be Formula B, top row, and the first column is where this piece is going to land, which is here, and the second column is where this piece begins, which is here. So I'm going to do Formula B, top row, and this column, and it's going to place this edge piece for me. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. This piece is placed. So I look for another yellow or white. Here's a yellow. But as I hold the cube facing me, the yellow's in front. I don't want that. So I flip the cube, and yellow and white are still left and right. And my yellow or white is on top. So I've got the corners to match the front color, which it already does. It's going in the yellow direction, which is this way. So I move it away. So my 2 columns are where I want it to land and where it is now. So this cube dictates, the cube that I'm placing dictates which 2 columns I use. So I move it away from the action to begin. There's my first up, move it back, second up, move it away, down, back, down. If you notice, Formula B is a commutator. It's a mathematical 0. For every left there's a right, for every up there's a down. And so it only moves the pieces that I want to move. And so whether I'm using it for the first pieces I'm placing or for the last pieces I'm placing doesn't matter, because it's not going to mess up any of the rest of the cube that you might have already done. Here's another yellow. Hold my cube so yellow and white are left and right. Bring the corners to match the front color. Determine which direction and move it away. First up is where it's going to land. Back. Second up is where it begins. Reverse, down, and that's placed. And you keep doing that, holding the cube yellow and white left and right, until there's no more yellow or white pieces, edge pieces, in the middle. Right? We're ignoring the centers, we're ignoring everything else. We're using so front color, slide your corners to match the front color. Determine its direction. Hello there, bellow there. typo. If you've just joined us, I am Sunshine. It is Saturday, and I am the creator of the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes, and I'm here to demonstrate that. Formula A is 4 moves, and it's used to bring an active color, the color that you want, piece that you want, to the top row. Whether that's corners or the absolute center, you can use it for any piece, for the first face, but other than that, it messes up other sides. So I only use it for corners and absolute centers. So I do the corners first. Hello, hi. Okay, so I've got my corners done. My corners then dictate. Is it okay? Is it for the 4x4 only? It is for absolutely every cube, every Rubik's Cube, every n by n cube, A and B, all you need to know. You don't have to memorize any parity algorithms, and they're all done exactly, every cube is done exactly the same way, so it doesn't matter what cube you have in your hand. It will do this, it will do that one as well, the 3x3x9, with one minor adaptation, which I talk about when I solve that. But other than that, you don't have to memorize a parity algorithm. You don't have to remember that right clockwise is parallel to left clockwise. My brain always gets confused, and before I can do the clockwise, I have to hold the cube to look at that side. So I get confused. Is it meant to be a method to just solve a cube? It is not a speed solving method. But if you are a speed solver and you want to see what the pair, this will help solve any cube. And I teach absolute beginners, people who don't know what an algorithm is, or what a permutation is, or what R means. I just take brand new beginners, and it takes me about an hour and a half, just an hour and a half, to teach absolutely every size of Rubik's Cubes. I spend 2 1-hour sessions with a brand new beginner, and then after that they can solve every Rubik's Cube. Well, I happen to be a speed solver, but I'm still interested in seeing how it works. That's great, and what this does, this will solve your cube for you if you want, so that you can have a solved cube to look at your parity. If you're learning a new algorithm, it's better if you can do that from a solved cube. You can see exactly what that algorithm does. And also, this will help you with becoming more intuitive with your cubes, with how the cube works. Because when you can solve the whole cube with just A and B, you can actually understand the mechanics of the cube. Whereas an algorithm can be considered just to be a cheat code. I want to see what happens with the 3x3. Okay, here's a 3x3. I have done the first 4 corners already. So I'm going to put the first 4 corners are done the exact same way the second 4 corners are. So I'm just going to go to the second 4 corners here on my 3x3. So my first 4 corners are done, correct to each other. So I put them face down, and I'm going to ignore them and let them take care of themselves. So I'm going to look at my second 4 corners, and which is that they all have a white on it. So white is the color that I'm working on. If I have one that's white already, then I'll start with that beginner. So I'm looking at this piece under my right thumb is the one that's going to be switched, going to be moved, manipulated, done something to. So I look to see if does this cube have a white on top? And if the answer is yes, then I'm going to slide it out of the way and keep going and look at this cube. So if the answer is no, I know there's a white there, but it's not on top. So formula A is going to twist this corner until my white is on top. And now I hold the cube. I'm looking at the front of the cube as if it's rows and columns on a spreadsheet. And I'm using the bottom row and the right-hand column. So I move this away. I move the space down, move it down, I move it in, I move it up. So this bottom row out, right column down, bottom row in, right column up. Okay, now that flipped it, but it's still not on top, so I keep going. Okay, white's on top, slide just the top row to keep it out of the way and protect it, and work on this corner. White's not on top, so formula A we'll bring it to the top. White's on top, slide it out of the way, keep going. And because of the mathematics of the cube, as long as I didn't rotate the cube and only rotated the top row, the bottom remains stable. So my first 4 corners are still correct. They took care of themselves. Even though they got moved around, because I only did formula A, they didn't get messed up. So second 4 corners, white's on top. I checked to see if the other, I'm ignoring everything but the corners, so I'm looking to see if the other sides, other colors of that cube, of the corners are correct. And red does not equal orange, green does not equal red, but blue equals blue. At this point in time, either all of them match, like my yellows do, or none of them match, or one of them match. If none of them match, it doesn't matter how you hold the cube to do B next time. But if one of them matches, you put that opposite you, away from you, and then you do formula B again. Top row, left and right column. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And then formula A will bring my white color back to the top again. Out, down, in, up. White's on top, slide the top to protect it, keep going. Out, down, in, up. Out, down, in, up. Slide the top, keep going. Out, down, in, up. Out, down, in, up. And now my second 4 corners are correct to each other. My first 4 corners are still correct to each other. So if I rotate the top row until the first top and bottom are correct, and now all 8 corners are correct to each other. At this point in time, I can of course set my absolute center correctly. But if I don't do that, I can, if I have a 4x4, I don't know what that is, so I can do that later. That doesn't matter. So even number cubes. So formula A brings a color to the top. Formula B moves, thank you. Formula B moves 3 pieces around. Oh, and if I had not just placed if I already had my edges solved, and I wanted to move this up to here without messing up any of the edges, I would just apply formula A to this piece. So this is my row, and this is my column. And so I would apply formula, so I move this piece away, the column down, this piece into the piece into the space, and then back up again. So you can use the absolute center to use formula A to place the absolute center as well. Once I've placed the corners, and I'm through with A, I'm just going to do B for everything else. And formula B is going to move, when I use the top row and the outside columns, it moves corners. But if I use the top row and an outside and an inside column, then it moves edges. Let me demonstrate. Find a cube. Find a cube that's solved. Give me a cube that's solved. Okay, going to demonstrate. If I apply formula B to this piece, I'm going to move this piece. I'm either going to move it over to this side or to this side. So my top row is the first column, is the row, and then of the 2 columns, the first column is where I want the piece to end up, and the second column is where it is right now. So if I want the piece to end up over here, then these are my 2 columns. If I want the piece to end up over here, then these are my 2 columns. So I start by moving away from where it wants to be. I'm going to move this piece down here. I start by moving it away. I move this piece up, this column up. I move it back. I move the second column up, and then I reverse what I did down, and there it is right there. If I wanted to move this piece over to this side, how long did it take me to come up with this method? That's a long story. I have been cubing since 1981, but I was not doing this method. I just memorized someone else's book and kept doing it. So let me move on to this cube. Let me be doing this while I'm talking. So since I'm moving, my corners are correct. I've been training my eyes to look for white and yellow, so I'm going to keep looking for white and yellow. So I'm going to hold my cube so that yellow and white are left and right, because my formula B I've just established is going to move from the top front to one of the sides. So my yellow and whites are left and right. find a piece that's yellow or white somewhere in between my two corners, and this is a piece that I'm going to be placing. White's on top, which is where I want it to be, so I rotate the corners together until the corners match the front color. White is my color, so it's going in the white direction, not the yellow direction, so it's going this way. So this is my first column, this is my second column, and I start by moving this piece away. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. This piece is placed. My corners are still correct to each other, dictating where everything is, and so I look for another white or yellow in the middle somewhere, and I find that. Okay. Since 1981, yes, I watched the first national championship for the first world record for solving the Rubik's Cube. I watched it on TV. I had my Rubik's Cube in my hand. And I saw Jeffrey Varasano solve the cube in 23.4 something seconds, and I was so bummed. I thought that I was hot stuff because I could solve the cube in like 3 minutes. Which at that point in time, if you could solve the cube, wow, you're a genius. Everyone would ask me, did you take the stickers off or did you take it apart and put it together? And I'm like, nope, I twisted it. So I put my cube down. I just didn't touch it for a month. I'm like, I am not fast. You cannot do that. And then I picked it up and I discovered that what I was good at was teaching other people. And so I had my cube. Go check out my bio. My dashboard will take you to my bio. abcube.how is me. www.abcube.how is me. But please be kind if you go there, because I did each step as a vlog post rather than which means that as I edit my steps, the blog posts are shown chronologically rather than alphabetically. So I'm redoing it to put it into an album instead, and so I can organize it prettily. But in the meantime, the steps are all there. Just go to abcube.how, slide down to solve it, and then click on either the corners or the centers or the edges, depending on what you want to solve. And each step has its own video rather than one video doing a complete walkthrough. So you find what you want to, which part of the cube you want to work on, and you go to that particular video, and rather than having to watch a video till you get to the part you need and then rewind and rewind and rewind. So how long did it take me? It took me 5 years. It took me 5 years to come up with this, and I wrote it. I put it in a concrete form, created it, wrote books. Oh, yeah. I can show you. Handwritten, pen and paper, where I'm putting them together. So it took me 5 years, and I wrote it as you could solve the Rubik's Cube, and oh, by the way, every other cube as well. Same way. And I could not. There was 100 books published about Rubik's Cubes, so nobody was paying any attention to me. So I took the next 5 years and I rewrote it from the 5x5 perspective, and oh, by the way, everything smaller and bigger can also be solved. So, and then I published it on ABCube, on speedsolving.com. So if you go there and look for the ABCube method, you will see it. It is there. It has a page all for itself right there. And just for demonstrating what it does. And also, I got to brag a little bit. If you go look at Wikipedia, if you go look at Wikipedia for the Professor's Cube, if you scroll down to solutions, and it had like 5 solutions for solving the Rubik's Cube. I am the 6th solution that is on there, so I am on the Wikipedia page for the Professor's Cube. Have been since 2020. So, because you don't just A and B, no parity algorithms, just A and B. So let me keep going on my 3x3 because that's what you asked for. Yeah, because I got it to where I thought it was perfect, and then I'd find a non-cuber and say, here's a cube, here's my book, tell me where you get confused. And they would say, this is kind of fuzzy, and so I'd rewrite the book, and then I'd find someone else. Here's a cube, here's my book, tell me where you tell me where you get confused. And I did that for 5 years until I could pretty much teach anybody. So yellow and white are left and right on my cube. I find a yellow or white from the middle, and it's on front, so I flip the cube so it's on top because I want it to be on top. Yes, I am on weak. So white's on top, yellow and white are left and right. I'm bringing the corners to match the front color. It's going in the white direction, so this way. So this is my first column, this is my second column. I move it away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. That is placed, and I look for another piece that has yellow or white in the middle. It's in front, so I flip my cube, but yellow and white are still left and right. Move the corners to match the front color, figure out which direction it's going, and move it away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Everyone always asks me how fast am I. I didn't start timing myself until I got my Go Cube because it has a built-in timer in it. I average about 1.5 minutes for my 3x3 solves, but here's my flex. I average 1.5 hours to 2 hours to teach my method so that anybody can pick up any cube and solve it. Without worrying about, without worrying about you don't have to spend months memorizing algorithms. You don't. You can, and you can get very fast that way. So I'm looking for more yellow or white in the middle. I don't see any, so I look to see if my sides are done, and either they are or they're not. In this case, they're not, because this is in the it's yellow or white, but it's in the wrong place. This is so cool, and the cooler thing is that you are quite literally teaching your method for free to me and whoever else watches. I am, and I will also tutor one-on-one. I incorporate my, I have a Zoom. I will incorporate Zoom into my Twitch so I can just screen capture, and I can Zoom up to 3 to 4 people, teach them at the same time. Just make sure it's like, okay, it's like, okay, do you have your B lined up? Okay, wait. Do you have your B lined up? Okay, wait. Okay, now all of you are going to do this, and then I can teach up to 4 people. I can teach many people at the same time. Yes, I can. And so bring me your non-cuber friends. Test me. Show them JPerm, and see who it's easier for them to follow. And if you have any agents, I'm trying to get this book actually physically published, and because that would be just so cool for me. All right, so yellow and white are left and right. There's no more yellow or white in the middle, so I look to the sides. This one's correct, this one's correct, this one's not. So I'm going to apply B to affect that cube. Yellow and white are still left and right. I'm going to put a garbage piece into this spot, so this piece will come to the middle and I can place it. So formula B again, just away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down, and now I have a piece in the middle I can work on again. Flip the cube so yellow and white are left and right, bring the corners to the front, determine its direction, move it away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Yes, my way is much easier. I'm so happy. I hope so. There's I have my landlady, she saw my cubes. She said, "Oh, that's really cool. You can do that. That's amazing." I said, "Do you want to learn?" She said, "Oh, I can't. I've had a brain injury and I have memory problems, and I can't learn new things." Okay, corners match the front. It's going the yellow direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. I said, "Oh, well, would you like to try?" And so I just showed her corners, and she got so excited because she's like, I printed this out for her on a piece of paper, and she had that in the cube, and she's like, "Oh, this works! I can do this!" And she made me sign, she made me autograph the piece of paper, and she put it in her, what do you call it? Memory? She put it in her memory book. With my autograph on it. She's like, "You have to sign it for me." My Wi-Fi is terrible. My messages come up with a 30-second delay. That's okay. You could teach your grandma, and let me know how she likes it, because it's like I said. Okay, formula A brings a color to the top. Formula B moves 3 pieces around if they want to move around. Yellow and white are left and right. They move corners to match the front. It's going in the yellow direction. First row, first column, second column. Up, up, down, down. Now when you fly Formula B to the outside columns, you're working with corners. If you apply it to an outside inside, you're working with edges. If you apply it to 2 insides, you're working with centers. So for example, slide the top. There's an up, slide the top, second up, reverse, down, and I just moved these 3 pieces around. So you're always moving 3 pieces around. I can undo it by lining up put it where it wants to, where the garbage piece is going to go. And I will show that it's 3 pieces because this yellow piece is not going to end up here, it's going to end up over here. So I will go up, slide, second column, reverse, down, and it moved 3 pieces around. It will always move 3 pieces around because there will always be 3 pieces to move. Talk to me about parodies. Ask me about parodies. A parody, I'm going to finish this cube first. Yellow and white are left and right. There's a yellow. Flip it so it's on top. Yellow and white are still left and right. Corners match the front. It's going over here. So away up, in, up, away down, in, down. Okay. Looking for yellow and white. Here's another one. Flip it over. Yellow and white are left and right. Bring the corners to match the front. It's going in this direction. Up, up, down, down. And now my opposite edges are done. Yellow and white are left and right. My corners are done. My opposite edges are done. But I'm going to still work with B, and B moves something from the top front to the side. So I'm going to now take my whites and put them face down. Boom. And so now I'm working on these side edges, and in order to do that I have to displace one of my yellows and throw it down so I can work on this piece. And when I do, I'm going to keep my yellow will find its way back to the top all by itself automatically, so I don't have to worry about that. So the first thing I do is set my center, because I can. It's an absolute center. If it's an even cube, you don't know what the center is, that's okay. It doesn't matter. So this cube is correct, so I'm not going to do that one. I'm not going to move that one. That one's okay. This one's incorrect, so I'm going to apply my Formula B to affect this piece. White's on the bottom, yellow's on top. White stays on the bottom for the rest of the cage, rest of the solve. So I'm going to put something in here. Slide up, slide down, and now, oh my goodness, I now have a piece in the middle that does not have yellow on it. I'm ignoring the yellows because they're correct where I want them to be. I'm only paying attention to the cube that I want to place. So white stays down. It's my cue, my guider. This is the cube I'm going to place. I hold the top row and I rotate the cube until the corners match the front. It's going in the blue direction, so this way. Away. First up is where it's going to land. Back. Second up is where it began. Reverse, down, just 8 moves. Over and over and over again. You can't forget it. Okay, white's still down. I want the corners to match the front, and they do. It's going in the blue direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Keep going until my yellow will find its way back to the top eventually. So, hold my cube, bring the corners to match the front color. It's going in the orange direction. Up, down, down, and my yellow found its way back to the top, set the top, and it's done. Edges are solved, centers are solved the same way. You just pick the piece you're going to move it up, slide it into a different column. That's your second up. Reverse, down, and down. Set the top and keep going. So, parodies, I said parody. A parody is where it looks like you have 2 pieces and only 2 pieces on that layer that need to be need to be switched. This piece wants parity can look like anything. It can look like these two side by side, or it can look like these opposite each other, or it can look on me on two different faces. It doesn't matter. It still looks like there are two pieces that I can reteach the corners. Give me 1 second. Okay, but with this parity is 1/4 turn. Okay, if it looks like there's two pieces that are off, there are three pieces that are off. The piece that you cannot see is the piece that you cannot see. That means that if, let's say these two pieces are my parity. They're not, but let's pretend, because this piece needs to go there. Let's pretend these pieces are my parity, and all the rest of the cube is solved. It's not, but we're going to pretend. The third piece to move is the center, is the layer itself. So if I move that 1/4 turn in either direction, then I have one piece that's correct and three edge pieces that are not. And you know how to solve three pieces. you have algorithms for that. And if you don't, Formula B will do it, as long as you have that layer that you can't see the invisible center on. If you turn that, your parity disappears. So you don't have to memorize a parity algorithm. You don't have to ever use a parity algorithm ever again in the rest of your life, unless you're speed solving. But if you're speed solving, that parity, this is the only exception to where when you're using formula A or B, you're never messing up what you've already solved, because in making that 1/4 turn, parity algorithms are horrendous. I said on my website, I said, it looks like, I quoted a parity algorithm and said, don't even bother, it just looks like a cat walked on the keyboard. So if it looks like there's two pieces out of place, the third piece that you can't see is the piece that you can't see. Give that layer that has the parity on it 1/4 turn, and your parity just disappeared. You don't ever have to do a parity algorithm ever again. Yay! Especially in a square one. Okay, someone just followed me. Thank you. Thank you for the follow. Thank you, Emery Aku. Thank you for following me. Thank you for SuperCuber01 for following me. I've got 44 followers right now, and I'm trying to get to 50, so that, because that's the benchmark that Twitch wants. It's if you can do that. So I am trying to get followers. Thank you for following me. Do bring me your non-cuber friends. Because if someone says, look, I know you've spent months and years memorizing. Thank you, Jasmine, for following me. Your friends will say, I know you spent months and months memorizing algorithms, but just tell me the secret. I don't want to be fast. Just tell me the secret. This is it. This is the secret. You can do this. Anyone can do this. I taught my 70-year-old landlady how to do it. So yes, you did. I see that. Yes, I'm so grateful for you guys. Somehow this is the first time I've ever heard of it. It is the first time. I just created it. This is mine. I did it. It's mine. And I published it in 2020 on speedsolving.com. So you would not have heard about it before then, because I just created it. Yay me, pat myself on the back. I'm very proud of myself. I did it because I was trying to solve. I did not know. I'd learned the 3x3, and I'd learned the 4x4. The book is not out yet, but I am counting on that. My phone died when you asked. Oh, is the book out yet? It's published on ABCube.how. So it's got my name. I've stamped my name on it. It is my method. But I have it. I do have it physically, tangibly in book form as printed out by my library. But I am looking for an agent because I want to have it published. I want to have it published by a publisher who can make a contract deal with the toy company. So this book wants to be published either with the 5x5 attached to the book, or the training set of the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5 cubes attached to the book, because this book without a cube in your hand is not going to help you at all. But it is like I said, I wrote it first as a 3x3 plus everything else, by the way, and I found a couple of agents that I was looking at. Get a deal with Nextcube or Moyu. Absolutely, I would love to. But a couple of the agents I was looking at said, okay, so who are you? What's your credibility that people would want to buy your book? Because I see 100 Rubik's Cube books out there. What's your credibility? So I finished this and I published it online, and now I'm listed on Wikipedia as one of the solutions on the Professor's Cube. And so now, when I find an agent, I can say, oh yeah, I'm Sandra Workman you can find me on Wikipedia. So I should contact the stores, Nextcube or Moyu. I actually, as I was working on it, I had a publisher lined up, Page Publishing. And they kept calling me every month saying, hey, how are you coming on your book? You ready? You ready to publish? And I got it done, and I called him back and said, it's done. It's finished. It's complete. And they said, great, give me $5,000. And I said, no, it's supposed to go the other direction. I don't want to self-publish. They were going to help me self-publish. And I don't want to self-publish. I want to be able to get it published the right way. I want it to be in stores, not just, you can buy it on Amazon. I want to actually have it published in stores. I want to hold the book physically in my hand and say, this is me, I did this. And I've got a lot of people who said, as soon as you publish, I want to buy your book. And I'm like, great. I'm in that process. That's happening. Just hasn't happened yet, but it's happening. So I'm very excited. There's a lot of merch that I want to create for this as well. This AB method would fit very nicely on just a keychain, which would go very well with a keychain. Rubik's keychain. And because once you've learned the method, then all you need for the cheat sheet is just the A and B method. The GAN 330. Go straight to up Rubik's. Oh, this, yes. I love GAN. Yes. So I want to print it on a Rubik's Cube. I want to print it on a keychain. I want to make a poster that just demonstrates, when you do Formula A, Formula B on these columns, this is what it does. And when you do Formula B on these columns, this is what it does. And just like a little one, just a poster that would be pretty. I'm not a graphic designer. I did, however, create, when you do a look at my abcube.how, I did create all of the images that are used on my formula. abcube.how, let me tell you real briefly, please be kind to me if you go there, because it's a miracle that it works, but I didn't do it right. I did my step-by-steps, I did my each step as a vlog post, and then I could not organize it alphabetically because it organizes it chronologically by the last one I edited it, so it looks very sloppy. But if you go to abcube.how, scroll down to Let's Solve It, click on that, and then click on either the corners or the centers or the edges. Why does that graph on your stream? Oh! Thank you for noticing! That was a typographical error when I was printing it out. And I've been too lazy to fix that. Okay, so I'm in the process of trying to redo abcube.how to put my steps. The B is not centered. You're right. The B is not centered. That's okay. Gives a character. So I'm in the process of trying to recreate the steps on abcube.how into a gallery, so that they can be presented alphabetically the way I want them to be presented, nice and pretty, like an index page, instead of random by the last one I edited. So I'm working on that. I will do better. But in the meantime, the steps are there, and it works. So, unless somebody wants to help me work on my Wix site, or as a graphic designer wants to help me work on my poster, that would be great. I'm hoping that if I do get an agent will help me organize, coordinate all of these things. So that's it. That's my claim to fame. That's my bragging of myself. But yes, it takes me, I'm not fast. It takes me about 1.5 minutes to solve the 3x3, but it takes me about 1.5 hours to 2 hours to teach anybody every cube. So bring me your non-cuber friends, the ones who just want the secret, and this is the secret. Neither a graphic designer nor a site designer, but I'd love to receive news about your site and your book and stuff like that. Cool is... Thank you so much. Thank you for the compliments. I will... My kids said that this Twitch is the way for me to reach my people, and so they helped me buy my computer and set it up. I'm old. I've been cubing since I watched the first Rubik's Cube competition live on TV. So, all right, this has been so much fun. Oops, I can't see. Your method is the way. Your kid is wrong. Now the way is YouTube's. I have a YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I am youtube.com/@ABCube method. So I am on YouTube, and I do have a playlist that is just the videos that are on my abcube.how tutorial. And then I also upload all of my Twitches to the same YouTube channel. So anything here ends up there. But so go to @ABCube method, and then click on the playlist, and that will take you a walkthrough step by step of solving it. YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts are like the vertical vids that are shorter than 1 minute. I can do that. I've also thought about TikTok. YouTube Shorts. Not normal YouTube, but YouTube Shorts. I will look into that. I don't know how to do that, but yes, I could. And I could just make, like, each step, I can have, like, one of, like, this is what Formula A does for corners. Da-da, boom. This is what Formula A does for center. Da-da-da, boom. This is what Formula B does for corners. Da-da-da, boom. TikTok and YouTube Shorts are the key. I will look into that. I do have a YouTube channel. I do have a YouTube playlist. If you want, you can help me with those. Oh, absolutely! I love help. I love help. Yes. Email me. I'm abcube.how@gmail.com. abcube.how@gmail.com. I would love help to do those. I've asked my kid to help me. He's on TikTok, and he's like, yeah, sure, I can help you, but he's a couple states away. abcube.how@gmail.com. That is correct. That is me. That is me. And I would love to have help making some YouTube shorts. That sounds so exciting to me. Yes. All right. Super. All right, you guys, this has been a Saturday morning. Thank you for spending your time with me. I will look forward to seeing you in my email. You'll get an email from Ricardo. It'll be me. Okay? All right. And I am Sunshine. My real name, if you go to Wikipedia, you can find out my real name is Sandra Workman. I'm the one who did the tutorial. I created the method, but I go by Sunshine. So the name on my book will be Sandra Workman. And I can't wait. I'm just making progress. So excited. All right, I will look for your email. The rest of you guys, enjoy your weekend. I'll be back here. I'll be back here on Monday morning. I do every weekday morning. I just go through a step-by-step each day. And then on Friday evenings and Saturdays, I'm here to play, which is... it's amazing to see. Thank you. All right, I'll be back here Monday morning, and I will be I'll see you guys then. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for the follows. Bye.